You know that feeling, right? That little flutter somewhere deep in your chest when you catch a glimpse of them walking into the room. Yeah, that one. The warmth that spreads through you like sunshine breaking through clouds on a gray morning. Maybe you have been noticing it more and more lately. The way their entire face just transforms the moment they see you, like you just made their whole day worthwhile. The way your phone lights up with their name before you even have a chance to think about texting them first. The way your conversations never really end, they just pause, waiting patiently until you pick up right where you left off, like no time has passed at all. Late at night, when everything is quiet and it is just you and your thoughts, you have probably asked yourself this question more times than you can count. Is this real? Is something actually happening between us? Or am I just fooling myself, seeing patterns in randomness, reading meaning into moments that mean nothing at all? Here is what I have learned after years of watching people navigate these confusing waters. Most folks do not just climb up on a rooftop and shout their feelings to the world. That kind of courage is rare, and honestly, it is terrifying. Instead, what people do is show you how they feel through 1,000 tiny gestures, through patterns of behavior that add up to something unmistakable if you know what to look for. These small, repeated acts of care and attention, they tell a story much more honest than words ever could. My name is Amelia, and today I want to walk with you through this landscape of uncertainty. I want to help you decode those signals, to distinguish between simple friendliness and genuine invitation. We are going to explore the specific, tangible signs that someone is not just enjoying your company as a friend, but is actually quietly, hopefully, waiting for you to be the brave one who takes that first real step. Whether this is someone you just met last week or someone you have known for years, but never quite understood, by the time we finish this conversation, you are going to have clarity. You will know whether it is time to move forward with confidence, whether you should wait and watch a bit longer, or whether you need to gracefully let go and move on with your dignity intact. So let us begin this journey together, because you deserve to know where you stand. Before we dive into the specific signs, we need to talk about something fundamental that trips people up all the time. There is a massive difference between someone liking you and someone inviting you in. These are not the same thing at all, and confusing them leads to heartbreak. A person can think you are absolutely wonderful, they can be attracted to you, they can genuinely enjoy your company, and still never give you an opening to come closer. Maybe they are carrying wounds from past relationships that have not healed yet. Maybe they are navigating complicated circumstances in their life right now. Maybe they are so shy that the very thought of being vulnerable makes them want to disappear. Maybe they are interested but not available, either emotionally or practically. Attraction alone only tells you that a spark exists. It does not tell you that they are ready, willing, and able to do something about that spark. An invitation is something entirely different. An invitation is a pattern of behaviors that creates space specifically for you, that builds bridges between where you are now and where something more could develop. When someone is genuinely inviting you to make a move, they are not just passively enjoying your presence. They are actively, consistently creating opportunities for deepening what exists between you. They are leaving little openings, hoping you will be the one brave enough to step through them. This distinction matters enormously. Everything I'm about to share with you is about identifying true invitations, not just fleeting attraction or general friendliness. Keep this framework in your mind as we explore the specific signs. So what does an invitation actually look like? Let me paint you a picture through real behaviors you can observe. The first major sign is that they consistently find reasons to be around you. Start paying attention to how often circumstances seem to align almost magically. They mention a concert they are thinking about attending, and somehow the conversation naturally evolves to both of you going. They need help with something minor, something they could easily do themselves or ask a dozen other people about. But they come to you. They suggest grabbing coffee after you finish whatever activity brought you together in the first place, even though neither of you planned it beforehand. Any single one of these moments could be coincidence. But when they form a pattern, when it keeps happening again and again, you are looking at something deliberate. Human beings make time for what matters to them. We create proximity to the people and experiences we value. If someone keeps engineering situations where you end up in the same space, sharing the same moments, that is not accident. That is intention. They are hoping that by creating these opportunities, you will eventually close the small distance they have left between you. Another major indicator is initiation. Pay close attention to who starts your conversations. Maybe in the beginning, you were doing all the work, always being the one to reach out first, carrying the weight of keeping things alive. But then something shifts. Suddenly, they are texting you first. They are sending you random thoughts from their day for no particular reason except that they want to connect with you. They are commenting on your social media posts more frequently than they used to. Every time someone initiates contact, they are taking a small risk. They are making themselves just a little bit vulnerable because you might not respond, you might be busy, you might not be interested. If someone keeps taking that risk specifically with you, it means you have become worth that vulnerability to them. You have become someone special enough to risk a small rejection for. Look also at response time and quality. Speed and substance both matter, though you need to understand the context. Some people are just constantly on their phones and respond quickly to everyone. That is just their communication style. But others might be slow responders generally, yet with you, they reply almost instantly. Compare how they communicate with you versus how they communicate with others if you can observe it. Quick responses indicate that hearing from you is a priority, that they will interrupt whatever else they are doing because connecting with you matters more. Thoughtful, detailed responses show they are actually engaging with what you said, not just going through the motions. When you get both speed and substance together consistently, that tells you that conversations with you have become a genuine highlight of their day, not just a pleasant way to kill time. Sometimes they reach out for absolutely no practical reason at all. These are the messages that do not contain information or questions that need answers. It might be a song that reminded them of something you mentioned in passing 3 weeks ago. It might be a meme that only makes sense because of an inside joke you share. It might just be them saying they saw something today that made them think of you. These contact points serve no functional purpose. Their only job is to maintain and strengthen the connection between you. If someone frequently reaches out with these kind of non-essential communications, that is a powerful sign because it reveals that you occupy significant mental real estate for them. They are thinking about you when you are not around, and they want you to know it without saying it directly. Notice too whether they remember small details about your life. Our brains are not recording devices. We do not retain every piece of information that comes our way. We remember what matters, what connects to things we care about. If they remember that you take your tea with honey because you mentioned it once 4 months ago, if they recall the name of your childhood dog, if they bring up that presentation you were nervous about and ask how it went, these are not accidents. Memory reveals priority. When someone retains the small details of your life, it is because you have become important enough that their brain flags information about you as worth keeping. They are paying attention in a way we only do for people who matter. They also start asking you deeper, more personal questions as time goes on. Surface conversation is safe and easy. Anyone can chat about the weather or complain about traffic, but personal questions require more investment. When they start asking about your family dynamics, your childhood experiences, what you dream about for your future, what really matters to you in life, they are moving past small talk into genuine knowing. People do not typically invest energy in deeply understanding someone unless they are imagining a future where that understanding will be valuable. They are essentially gathering information to see whether your life and their life could fit together in some meaningful way. One particularly telling sign is when they try to determine your relationship status, though they often do this indirectly. They might casually ask what you are doing this weekend, listening carefully to see if your plans include another person. They might mention their own past relationships in a way designed to prompt you to share about yours. Sometimes a friend of theirs will randomly ask you about your dating life, which is rarely truly random. People investigate your availability because they are considering trying to fill that spot themselves. If they did not care whether you were single, they would not bother finding out. They might also bring up topics related to relationships and dating when you are together. Sometimes people do this to test the waters, to see how you think about romance, what your values are, what you are looking for. They might tell you what they want in a partner, describe their ideal relationship, or ask you what you think makes love work. This is their way of getting important information without declaring their own feelings directly. If romantic topics keep coming up specifically, when the two of you are alone together, it is probably not random. They are likely hoping you will pick up on the theme and reveal something about your own feelings or interest. Physical proximity and touch are also significant. Humans communicate enormous amounts of information through physical space and contact. Start noticing whether they find small, socially acceptable reasons to touch you. A hand on your shoulder when they are laughing at something you said. A brief touch on your lower back as you walk through a doorway, sitting just slightly closer to you than the space requires. Leaning in when you talk. Any individual instance could be explained away as meaningless, but as a consistent pattern. These small touches are anything but meaningless. People do not repeatedly find reasons for physical contact unless they are drawn to that contact. It is a way of testing boundaries, engaging your comfort, seeing whether you welcome their closeness or pull away from it. In group settings, watch whether they orient toward you as their primary focus. When there are multiple people around, it becomes very obvious where someone's attention truly lies. Notice who they choose to sit next to when they have options. Notice who they look at first when they enter the room. Notice who gets the majority of their attention during conversations, even when others are talking. If they consistently choose you, even when other options exist. If they keep directing their energy toward you, even in a crowd. That exclusivity of focus tells you something important. It reveals that even surrounded by people, you are the one they are actually there for. Also, pay attention to how they prioritize time with you despite competing demands. Everyone is busy. We all have work, family obligations, household responsibilities, other friendships. How we allocate our limited time reveals what we actually value versus what we say we value. If someone has a genuinely packed schedule but still carves out time specifically for you, that is significant. People do not make room in an already full life for things that do not matter. If you are consistently prioritized even when it is inconvenient for them, you have moved into the category of importance, not just casual friendship. Their face, when they first see you, often tells the whole story before they have a chance to manage their expression. That initial, unguarded reaction is very difficult to fake. Do they light up? Does their face break into an immediate smile? Do their eyes widen slightly? Do they physically orient their entire body toward you? These micro expressions that happen in the first second or two of seeing you reveal their genuine emotional response before social filtering kicks in. If every time you appear they look like they just received good news, it is because to them you are good news. Their body and face are speaking a truth their words might be too scared to say. Playful teasing and the development of inside jokes also signals special connection. Good-natured teasing creates intimacy because it requires understanding someone well enough to know what will make them laugh versus what will hurt them. Inside jokes function like a private language that only the two of you speak. They create a little bubble that temporarily excludes the rest of the world. These are bonding mechanisms that people typically only develop with those they feel genuinely close to. When someone engages in this kind of playful intimacy with you specifically, they are building a unique relational world that belongs just to you and them. Notice whether they create opportunities to be alone with you rather than always keeping things in group contexts. Group hangouts are safe. They provide social cover and diffuse intensity. One-on-one time is more vulnerable, more intimate, more revealing. If someone keeps engineering situations where it ends up being just the two of you, like suggesting you stay and talk after everyone else leaves, or proposing a walk that separates you from a larger group, they are creating space for something more significant to develop. They are removing the safety net of other people and seeing what exists when it is just you and them. Sometimes they drop hints about future activities you could do together, rather than making direct invitations. They might mention a movie coming out they want to see. They might talk about a restaurant they have been wanting to try. They might describe an activity they have always wanted to do. Then they pause, leaving space for you to say, "Hey, let us do that together." This is a low-risk strategy. If you pick up the hint and suggest making a plan, great. If you do not, they can pretend they were just making conversation and their ego stays intact. If this pattern keeps happening, if they keep throwing out these little seeds and waiting to see if you will water them, they are definitely hoping you will be the one to turn the hint into an actual plan. Watch for small flashes of disappointment when you miss these hints or opportunities. This is a moment of truth. If you do not pick up on what they were suggesting, if you do not accept an opening they created, watch their micro expressions carefully. Does their energy drop slightly? Do they get a bit quieter? Does their smile fade just a little? That brief disappointment reveals that the hint was not casual at all. It mattered to them. They were genuinely hoping you would step through the door they opened, and they felt the sting when you did not. You might wonder why someone who feels this way does not just tell you directly. Why all this indirect communication and subtle signaling? The answer is simple and human. Vulnerability is terrifying. Confessing feelings opens you up to rejection, and rejection wounds us deeply, sometimes in ways that take years to heal. Most people have a strong self-protective instinct. Hints and indirect signs allow them to test your interest without fully exposing themselves. If you do not reciprocate, they can retreat and pretend nothing happened, preserving their dignity and your friendship. Past experiences also shape present courage. If they have been hurt before, if previous vulnerability led to pain, they are likely to be extra cautious now. It does not mean their feelings are less real. It just means they need more reassurance that it is safe to fully reveal those feelings. They might be waiting for you to show clear interest first, to demonstrate that the risk of opening up will be worth it. It is also crucial that you do not mistake general friendliness for romantic interest. Some people are just warm, engaging, and attentive with everyone. They are naturally social, generous with their time and attention, quick to smile and laugh. The way to distinguish between their personality and specific interest in you is comparison and pattern recognition. Do they treat everyone this way, or is there something qualitatively different about how they interact with you? If they are equally warm and engaged with everyone, that is just who they are. But if you observe something special, something extra, something different in how they are with you compared to others, that specificity is meaningful. Context and comparison are everything. Let me tell you about the mistakes people commonly make when they suspect someone might be interested in them. The biggest one is waiting for absolute, unmistakable certainty before doing anything. That level of certainty almost never arrives. Romantic interest usually lives in the ambiguous spaces, in the maybes and possibilities, not in clear declarations. If you wait for someone to just directly tell you they like you, you might wait forever and miss opportunities that were actually right in front of you. Another mistake is overanalysis, trying to decode every tiny behavior like you are breaking a code. If you spend all your mental energy scrutinizing every text for hidden meaning, analyzing every glance, you will drive yourself crazy and actually damage the natural flow of connection. Sometimes you need to let things unfold organically rather than trying to control and predict everything. A third common mistake is assuming assuming that if they really liked you, they would just say so. This assumption forgets that humans are often paralyzed by fear. Some of the deepest feelings remain unspoken for years because the person feeling them is too afraid of ruining what already exists or too scared of rejection. Courage is not a given, even when feelings are strong. If you want to test the waters without making things awkward, start with small, low-risk moves. Suggest a simple activity that is just the two of you and see how they respond. Are they enthusiastic? Do they immediately agree? Or do they hesitate and make excuses? You can bring up relationship topics casually in conversation and notice whether they lean into the topic or change the subject. You can increase your own warmth slightly, maybe holding eye contact a second longer, being a bit more playful, standing a bit closer, and see if they mirror that increased intimacy or pull back. These small experiments give you information without requiring you to make a big, vulnerable declaration. How you move forward depends on the existing level of connection. If you already have an established relationship where you talk regularly, you do not need some grand romantic gesture. You just need to shift the tone slightly to add a layer of intentional romance to what already exists. Instead of saying, "We should hang out sometime," try something more specific and personal, like, "I would really love to take you to this place I know, just us." The specificity and the just us part signal romantic intent without requiring you to deliver a speech about your feelings. You can also offer small, genuine compliments that go beyond friendly. Things like, "I really look forward to talking with you," or "Spending time with you is the best part of my week." These statements test the waters. If they respond warmly, smile, reciprocate the sentiment, that is a green light. If they seem uncomfortable or quickly change the subject, you have your answer without having made things too awkward to continue as friends. If you do not know them well yet, your goal is simpler, just to create a genuine, one-on-one conversation and see if there is mutual interest in more. Find a reason to talk to them individually. Ask them something real, something that shows you have paid attention. If that initial conversation goes well, suggest something low pressure, like getting coffee or going for a walk. If they respond quickly and positively, that is promising. If they are slow to respond or give vague, non-committal answers, it is probably best to let it go and direct your attention elsewhere. If you have never spoken to them at all, you are starting from zero, which is actually freeing in some ways because there is no established dynamic to protect. Just be direct and genuine. Approach them, introduce yourself, say something honest like, "I have noticed you here before and wanted to actually say hello." Keep it brief and friendly. You are just opening a door to see what happens. If they seem pleased and engage with you, wonderful. If they seem uncomfortable or uninterested, you have your answer quickly and can move on with your dignity intact. If you know them through work or another context where you need to maintain professional boundaries, you have to be more careful and gradual. Start by suggesting group activities outside of work that allow for social interaction without crossing professional lines. If those go well and you sense mutual interest, you can slowly move toward more individual connection. This respects the complexity of the situation while still exploring what might be possible. If your move forward is received well, do not panic or rush. You do not need to have everything figured out immediately. Just continue being the person you have been, genuine, kind, interested, and let things develop naturally. If your move is not received the way you hoped, allow yourself to feel disappointed because rejection does hurt, but do not catastrophize it. One person not being interested does not mean you are unlovable or that you did something wrong. It just means this particular connection was not meant to become what you hoped. Respect their response, give yourself space to process the disappointment, and then continue forward, knowing that clarity, even disappointing clarity, is better than endless uncertainty. So, when is the right time to actually make your move? If you are seeing most of these signs consistently over time, if you have tested the waters with smaller gestures and gotten positive responses, if the pattern is clear and repeated, then it is time. Waiting indefinitely usually just means both people stay stuck in uncertainty. If the invitation is genuinely there, accepting that invitation is the healthiest thing you can do. But if the signs are inconsistent, if you are seeing mixed messages, if they treat everyone exactly the same way they treat you, it is probably better to hold back. Also consider their current life circumstances. If they are going through a difficult breakup, dealing with a family crisis, or overwhelmed with work stress, even genuine interest might not be actionable right now. Timing matters in how relationships begin. Here is my simplest piece of wisdom. Look for consistency over time, not intensity in isolated moments. One amazing conversation, one meaningful glance, one perfect afternoon together. These do not mean as much as someone who shows up for you reliably in small ways, week after week. If someone is steady in their attention, consistent in their warmth, reliable in their presence, that is someone whose interest you can trust. If you have seen that steady pattern, if the signs are there, then maybe the only thing you are actually waiting for is permission from yourself to try. Sometimes the sign you need is simply your own courage to begin. I hope this has helped you feel more equipped to read the situation you are in and to trust yourself to make whatever move feels right. If you found this helpful, I would love for you to subscribe and join this community because that helps me keep creating content like this for you. Until next time, I am Amelia, reminding you that you are worthy of love and brave enough to pursue it.